welcome to Internet Girls.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So it's been, I think we're now back on our weekly schedule.
Yeah.
And yeah, any updates from you, Hannah? Any?
Well, I've been binging Love Island and I feel like I'm kind of late because it ended. Um, but I'm also I'm pretty far into it and it's good. Have you been watching?
No, and I feel left out because I'm normally whenever something like this is going on, I'm all in, except for The Bachelor. Yeah, so maybe that's why I didn't feel the need at first, but now I feel left out, and I've heard such good things, and I'm seeing all the memes and everything going around, and it looks so funny and so good, and I want to laugh. I want to be in on it.
Well, it's not too late. I mean, it just ended. I'm still watching it. So start and then we can talk.
Okay, okay.
There's just so many episodes. I used to watch Love Island UK. And I don't think I've ever made it to the end of a season because there's just so many episodes.
How many episodes per season?
I don't know, but in the UK it's on every night. And here it was on every night but Wednesday. So you can imagine there's so many episodes. So I don't even know how Love Island ends, how they determine a winner because I've never finished it, but I have watched so many seasons. I just always lose interest. So this time I'm I am determined to finish Love Island.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, this was their first, I would say, successful US season because all the other seasons I feel like were kind of a flop. Like,
That's what I've heard. I've never watched another US, and it was weird to jump into US because I'm so used to the British accents. Can I pull you for a chat?
yeah, yeah. And I thought that was kind of the allure of it was the fun accents, you know?
It is, but they do have British and Australian people on this season.
Oh, okay. So they knew. They were we gotta like
Yeah,
the American accent is just not cutting it. We gotta throw in.
exactly. They knew. So yeah, that's kind of my big update that I've just been watching Love Island like a crazy person.
Yeah.
You can just blow through that, especially if you're playing a little game on your phone, just have a little drinky, you're set.
Oh, okay. Maybe I need to do that. I could put on it's like a background show, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where can I watch it?
Peacock.
Okay. I do have Peacock.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, do it. Yeah, I feel like my whole life these days has been just watching TV. I've been doing nothing, so yay.
I will say I did yesterday have a very wholesome day, which I needed in my life. So,
Mm.
um I went to okay, so oh my gosh, Hannah, you would eat this up. You would love this. Okay. There's these things called farm shares. Have you heard of this?
No, that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You need to join one because they're apparently all over the US, and I can't join one because I move all the time, but my friends here are all a part of farm shares, and they're both a part of different ones. And what this means is you pay up front, but it ends up being $20 a week for 18 weeks. And you get to go to this farm and pick up your share of fresh farm fruits and vegetables. And they're different every week. And they're beautiful and homegrown. And you just get to go pick them up and out once a week.
How have I not heard of this? This is my dream.
I have never heard of this either, and it's so cheap. She was showing me, but you have to sign up for it and be a member to do that and get that price. But then she was showing me, see, if you didn't sign up for the farm share and get that, the one thing that she got from the farm share was $8, and she got a gazillion things for $20, you know. So it's so much cheaper, and it's just gorgeous, beautiful, fresh vegetables, and it's so good. It's so good. They're called
Stop. That is amazing. So you went to the farm yesterday?
yeah. So I went to the farm and did that, but apparently these things are all over the country. It's not
Oh,
just a here thing. So you've got to look into this.
okay. I'm opening a browser so I don't forget. Farm share.
Farm share.
Oh my God. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you because I was like, I want to do this.
I'm so excited for this. It's like a farmer's market that's affordable and more authentic.
Yeah, and it's $20 and then you get to go and you just like get to grab your thing. So my friend Julia, she was like posting that she was going every week. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I want to go. This looks so fun and wholesome." And she was like, "Come with me next week." And I was like, "Perfect. Sign me up."
That's so cute. Yeah, when you texted me and you were like, sorry, I just got back from the farm. I didn't have service. I was like, okay, the farm.
What
Tori's on a farm.
but it was so good. I like really needed that because I just
Yeah.
and then but after the farm, then I went on a bike ride with all of my friends, which I
Oh,
forgot that we were doing that day too. And so my friend Julia, the same girl I went to the farm with, she has like this perfectly planned out bike trail that she's like done a bunch of times. So we got on like the city bike situation things and did this like perfect trail that's like so beautiful by all of these like picturesque spots. Like you pass by lighthouses and like water, and then like it ends off at the spot to grab a drink, and then you also stop by this place where you get like lobster rolls, but there's like a ton of food over there and ice cream, and it's just like it was so such a wholesome day, a great summer night.
um, I was gonna say, I was like, it's so cute that you have all these friends because you move so much. And then I forgot that our podcast episode today is about making friends as an adult, which I feel like you are the master at.
You think so? Thank you. I appreciate that.
I do think so. Like you move all the time and yet you have like this cute little friend group. Like that's who can do that?
Well, I attribute that a lot to like out of necessity. Since I do move so much, I'm like, okay, I have to do this because I'm not an introverted person. I like need I need that in my life. I need friends. I need like people to talk to. I will not survive. So it's something I like have to do. And that is exactly what this episode is about. It's how to make adult friends, which is hard. It's so hard.
It is hard. Like especially if you're not, I don't know. I just think it was so easy to make friends in school and you're like surrounded by your friends all the time. Like what a magical time college was.
Yeah. And I feel
Oh,
like that gets so taken for granted. Like you don't realize whenever you're in those kind of like school situations, or even like because what we do working for ourselves is can be very like isolating.
isolating.
You just don't realize how hard it can be whenever you're out of those kind of like forced social environments.
No, totally. And I feel like for our job too, sometimes I'm like, well, I have a lot of friends, but they're all online. And so you have to almost like you feel like you're being social, but then you're still like sitting on your couch. And it's so important to actually like go out, like get brunch, get dinner, like go shopping, like do stuff with people, unless you are just like a super introvert like John. Like he's like, I don't really want friends.
Yeah, yeah. Like if that doesn't fill you up, then that doesn't fill you up. But some
Mhm.
people, like for me, like that energizes me. Like for most of the time, or unless I'm really tired, that like I typically leave those situations feeling like, yay, that felt good. And that's important because
Yeah.
that's like out of the piece of pie of life. If life is a piece of pie, that should be a good corner of it. I think most people, not everyone, but a lot of people need that.
Yeah, because like especially if you're in a relationship, like you can't depend on your partner to like fulfill you completely.
Hmm.
Like it's so important to have other people for different parts of your life.
Hmm. And who are you going to complain about them to? You know?
Exactly. Oh my God, amen. I'm so sad that we don't live closer because social media really has brought us together, but alas, we are across the country from each other, which is cruel.
I know, it's like so not fair. But you know what? One day we will be in California and we'll still be like not,
Yeah, you'll come back.
yeah. And we
It'll be
won't be like right across the street from each other, but it'll be way easier.
great.
Way easier.
So tell me how you go about making friends as an adult, as someone who moves all the time.
So I personally, I use social media to make friends mostly because, first of all, what I love about it is you can be like, oh, this is a look into their lives. I can like see what kind of person they are. I can be like, do I have common interests with them? Do I like the vibe? Is this like, does this seem like someone I would want to be friends with? And then you can like plan from there to like meet up. And the thing is about that is, like I said, it's like a peek into their life. So you kind of have like, it's not like going in blind on a date of like, oh, maybe I might like this person. It's almost like meeting them before you meet them.
Yeah, I feel you.
That's like the what I do. The only thing with that is sometimes a lot of people don't post on social media regularly, but which is fine. Not everyone has to, but for me that's been like the easiest way. And especially I don't have a lot of time here in places that I'm at, so like that's just how I've done it.
Mhm.
But I think the best way too, and even if and they don't have to be even a social media person, but I feel like on there or online the best way is to find someone who has like common interest as you.
So, like, how do you find those people online though? Because it can be hard to just be like, okay, I need friends in my area, but like, how do you find them online?
Well, typically it'll be like I'll be like, okay, do where do they live, and if they're living to where I'm moving to, and then I'm like, okay, this person lives where I'm about to move. And then I'll be like, okay, here's a couple of contenders. And then I'll be like, okay, let me look at all these contenders. What are the like common interest of these people? And I'll search like the area that I'm moving to is really like the answer to your question. But then from
Okay.
there, I'll like deep dive into those people. And then I'll reach out to those people, catch the vibe from our conversations, and then dwindle it down from there.
You're like, time to set up my friend interviews. And are people ever like weirded out that you're like reaching out on social media to like be friends?
Um, Sometimes, but not that much. Um, Actually, the only time that people were like, I got that vibe was in Northern California.
Oh, that makes sense. People here are like not that friendly.
But I will say, I think it was just because it was COVID though time,
Yeah.
and it was like peak COVID, like kind of the beginning. It was like the second wave of the beginning, like
Yeah, we
2021.
stuck to our bubbles
Yeah,
for sure.
everyone was like, I don't know, maybe
Kind of offended you never hit me up.
you never came across my desk back then. It was 2021.
Rude.
It was 2021, and that area was so big. You weren't in my area that I was living, so like you were
I'll forgive you.
San Jose, which is like the lamest part of the Bay Area, in my opinion. So
Agreed.
you were in a cooler part, so I wasn't
Mhm.
looking in the cooler part. I was looking
That makes
at my
sense.
lame part, which
Many
makes
people weren't coming across your desk.
so only the lame people were coming here. I'm just from San Jose. I'm just joking. That is how that's like the only time that that's been an issue for me was during like COVID times. And in that
Mhm.
area, I had difficulty finding friends. But beyond
Yeah.
that, it's been pretty easy. Most of the time, other people are having issues. Like, this is a common problem, like
Mhm.
finding friends in adulthood.
Even if you don't move a lot, like because when you leave college, like in my example, or in my what in my world, what happened was I went to college really close to where I live now, but everyone else left. So I was just like a loner after college, being like, okay, all my friends that I just spent 4 years with are gone. And now like I don't know anyone. And then you like start a job or something. And like I worked in corporate when I first started, and that was a great way to make friends. But also then people are like really dedicated to their jobs. And sometimes they don't want to like go out, do this, do that. Like they're like, we're work friends. We're not like real friends, which kind of sucked for me, but I do think that like your work friends can become your real friends, obviously. And I have had a couple scenarios where that like really worked out for me, but it's hard. Like, I think your early 20s, like right when you get out of college, if you do go to college, it's the hardest time. You just feel so lonely and your whole life just changed and you're on your own and like it's just such it was such a lonely time for me even having John.
No, I 100% agree with that. Actually, when I was fresh out of college in my big girl job, that was the time I was probably most miserable in my life. Because I was in that exact same scenario as you, so I'm sure this is like a very common problem, and I'm surprised. I feel like not a lot of people talk about this, because I feel like everyone's like, "Oh, you're in your 20s. It's like should be the best time of your life, and you should be having the best time ever." And then some people I think do have that experience, but then there's a lot of people who have the experience where everyone from your, because I stayed in that same area as well, and all
Mhm.
my friends from college had moved away, and I was got my first big girl job. I was working for Anheuser-Busch, um and I had this like cool job and all of that, but I had no friends, and I felt like I had like nothing for myself other than my job. And then it was like these people at work I didn't have anything in common with, and I didn't really like my job that much. Like it was a job. Like
Mhm.
to me it was cool, whatever, but that wasn't, other than that, that was like where our commonality stopped. It was like the job.
Totally. Yeah, no, nobody talks about how hard your early 20s are. And the only people I think had like a good time, I had this group. There was this like group in high school. They were like kind of the popular kids. They were kind of mean, like, kind of the bullies, but they all went to the same college and they all stayed friends. And then after college, they all moved to San Francisco and they just all like had each other and they were all like following each other through life. And I was like, I can't make my decisions based on a friend group, unfortunately,
Mhm.
which like I'd love to, but I feel like they were constantly just like, oh, let's all go to the same college and then let's all move to the same city. And like they were having a great time in the early 20s because they were like free, like with each other, like living together. And I was like, that must be so nice. And I'm kind of jealous, but also it's just hard to make your decisions based on where your friends want to live, you know?
Yeah, well, and I'm sure that's great to have a support system like that. But something, as someone who has a big friend group still from high school, and I love them and I'm still friends with them to this day, but I'm not, obviously I don't live near them, and so they're not in my every single day. Um that, and even sometimes when I hang out with them and still love them to death, that can keep you very limited in who you are because they still see you that way. And sometimes even when I'm hanging out with them, I like feel myself being who they think that I am. You know what I mean? Like and it's almost happens without even thinking about it from
Yeah.
any of us. So I have this theory that big friend groups like that are you've had, that the dynamics have been set for such a long time, can keep you like stuck in old like behaviors and old ways. You know what I mean? And
No, totally. And like that was the reason I wanted to like go off to college by myself because I was like I want to like immerse myself in a new world and not just be like kind of stuck with this one friend group which like it's like bringing your comfort blanket, you know? It's like yeah, this is really comfortable and I feel like I'm in my like little bubble, but also it's going to be really hard to like venture out and make new friends and make a new community. And I feel like if I had gone to school with like all my high school friends, I wouldn't have made the friends that I did make in college.
yeah, no, exactly. And see, I went to college with a couple of my friends from high school, and I have a little bit of regrets about that because I think it
Mm.
definitely, I just clung to them, and I did make really good college friends as well, but I always like had them like as like I only kept those college friends at a certain like distance of closeness because I had like my, what I viewed as like my true like
Yeah.
serious close friends. You know what I mean? as well. So
Mhm.
it like it like held me back in a way, which I think that's what some of those big close friendships can do. They can hold you back, like from evolving and becoming and changing into a different, maybe better version of yourself. But I do think that it's important to keep the, and I'm not saying you shouldn't keep those people in your life. Like, you absolutely should. I literally love them. And some of those people, I feel like they are like woven into like the fabric of like who I am as a person, and they'll always be in my life. Love them so much. But I'm just saying, like, those people don't have to be like the end all be all, like these are my friends, that's it, like no new
Mhm.
friends. Like, you need to make room and space for other people as well, so you can evolve yourself and grow.
Yeah, I don't have that where I still have like a big close group from high school. I thought I was going to. When I graduated high school, I was like, "Oh, we're going to be friends forever." But like within like a month of starting college, we just like, drifted off, and it was okay because I do feel like my real ride or die homies I made in college.
Yeah, well, I feel like that happens all the time, like either like college people either have a really close ride or die group from college or a really close ride or die group from high school, you know. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, it is hard when you leave college and you're like, this is my family. And then everybody moves to different places and does their own thing and goes to grad school. And it's sad, but there are ways to make friends as an adult. Like now I'm 30, and so in the last like 8 years since I've graduated college, like I really do feel like I have so many friends around the Bay Area now. And it's like I have so many friends all over the world, which is really cool because when your friends do go off to different places, then you have friends where they go. So now when I visit New York or Albuquerque or wherever, like I have friends everywhere now, and it's really cool.
yeah, no, totally. That's such a fun thing about this too. Like, Nat and I moving all the time is like, I feel like, oh, we can go back and visit all these places and hang out with our friends and all the places across
Exactly.
the world.
But I do think like besides like having a job, because obviously I used to have an in-person job and now I don't. And that can definitely make it harder to make friends. But I have found that like social media is a great way to make in-person friends. Like I've definitely made a lot of my friends from social media. Most of them slide into my DMs though. Like I'm not I'm not out here doing my research. Um and then also like try something new, take a new class. Like when I took my first pottery class at the studio, like I made so many friends from that. It's like it's so easy to make friends when you're like having a shared experience.
Hmm, hmm. Like, common
So,
interests are
common interest.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the people you'll meet in these classes too, because like you guys have a common interest, but like they can just be such interesting people. Like one of the people I met was a Pilates instructor, and I went to my first Pilates class with her, which I never went back. I hated it, but like she was great, and
You're like, love
they
this
just
for
like
you.
love this for you. Don't love this for me and my non-existent abs. Um, but like it's cool to meet new people as an adult because people have like really just ventured into their passions and like it's just such a cool way to meet people because when you're like at a job and you make friends at the job, everyone's doing the same thing. You know, like you're all at the same company, you're all in the same like job, whatever. But when you meet people at like a class, like you're going to meet people from like all different walks of life and it's really cool.
I love that. I think also, even just like going to your favorite places, like, think if you take inventory of like yourself and think of like, where are your favorite places to hang out and go? Like, what's your favorite coffee shop? What's your favorite restaurant? What's your favorite bookstore? What's your favorite, like, places like that? And you could find, chances are, your maybe like people who you would be interested in getting to know more, maybe those are their favorite places as well, you know?
Yes, and go to those places by yourself because again, like if you have someone with you, you're not going to be as open to like making new friends. So like go to those places by yourself and then just be like Like just go in knowing that you're super open, like be super friendly, talk to people, like we're girls, right? Like I'll just go up to a girl and be like, "Oh my god, love your shoes." And then like sometimes we'll start talking. I've legit made friends doing that.
Mm.
Like that's a really easy way to make friends, but you have to like put yourself out there a little bit, which can be scary.
Yeah, use the gift of gab. We're girls, you know.
Girls love to gab.
That's right. And also,
um
like, you don't need to have like this is something that I had to learn too, is that like every friendship doesn't have to be like this deep, meaningful, amazing, like close friend. You can have friends for like different things. Like maybe like Hannah, maybe you have like pottery studio friends that are like your friends at the pottery studio, and like then maybe you have like me who's like your close friend, and then maybe you have like I don't know
Brunch friends.
what.
Brunch
French
friends.
friends. I thought you said rich friends.
Oh.
Those are great too.
Also rich friends.
But like people, you can have different types of friends to fill up like different kinds of like roles in your life. Like you don't have to just like make this like one amazing friend who's gonna like check all the boxes for you, like in every sort of like social like need that you're needing to be met, you know.
Yeah. And I do feel like also a lot of people put pressure on themselves to have like a friend group. And it's hard. I feel like there is this societal pressure of like, if you're in your 20s and you have like a friend group and you can go out all the time, like, I never had that. And I'm okay. Like, I have lots of different friends. Some of them have become friends with each other as well. And that's great. But like, I don't remember the last time I hung out as like a group. And that's okay. Like, you don't need to have a group necessarily, you know?
Yeah, and I think social media is something that makes that hard because you see like people going out with like this group, and it makes it like, oh, and they're hosting like those PowerPoint nights or like theme nights, and you're like, am I missing out on this like special thing? And while I do think that those things are fun, I also think that there's a downside to friend groups. Like I said, like they can keep you stuck in dynamics or stuck in like the person that they like feel that you are to them, and then you almost become that person, and then it like stops you from like evolving. So if that just like doesn't happen for you, I don't think that that's like the worst thing in the world, and I
Mhm.
think that you should just like use that to your advantage, and just maybe that's just not meant for you, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, social media really does make it seem like everyone has these like big groups of friends and everyone's hanging out. But like, remember my story about that group of girls in high school who like followed each other to college, followed each other to San Francisco. Now they have a friend group, of course, because they've always had a friend group. But like, have they really branched out? Have they like lived on their own and experienced things on their own? Or have they always just had this like, core group to like be there to get them through, which can be really nice, definitely, but it's just not for everyone.
Well, also, like, have they changed at all? Like, have they only experienced like this much because they've like kept themselves
Exactly.
so safe, rather than like think about how much maybe more they would have experienced or gone and done had they like branched out?
Have you ever tried Bumble BFF?
Okay, during that very lonely time period that we were talking about, where all my friends from college moved away and I was still in my college town, I did try it, but I never met up with anyone. But I did like send some messages.
Yeah. Also, like, I think it was right when I moved to Oakland. So I was probably like 24. And I was like, oh my God, I have no friends. I definitely downloaded it. And I realized that at least here, a lot of the people on there were like exchange people. So like they were only going to be here for like 6 months or a year. So I was a bit like, I don't know if I want to like put my whole Hannah C into this. if they're gonna leave, like I'm gonna be stuck in like 6 months without a friend again. Yeah, so it just felt like so much pressure. Like it really feels like dating when you're on this app and you're like swiping through girls to be friends with, and like it just felt like a lot.
Yeah. It's not, I think that those things can be great though. I know people who have met friends through there. So I think it just depends on like what area that you're in, maybe, or
Definitely try it, because I feel like just like social media, it's very similar,
yeah.
except everyone on there is like signing up to be your friend, which is so nice.
I do think that friendships as adults though are also like really important. Like I think whenever you neglect those, you might find yourself being like a little bit depressed maybe, because like and you might not even know why. And and I think like whenever you do get older, like yeah, there's less time for like that kind of stuff, but I think that you should always make it a little bit of a priority. It doesn't have to be like the top priority in your life, but you should always make it a priority. Important.
It is important. You can't just rely on your partner to be your best friend, even though it sounds easier and safer than going out and scouting new people. But like, put in the work. And once you do, like, have those, hopefully they don't move, because that's always my issue. I'm like, cool, I have this great friend. Oh, they're moving. Bye.
Yeah, well, I feel like the Bay Area can be like very transient because of tech is like kind of a transient
Yeah.
like industry, and that's like what the big industry is there. Like those jobs are very like I don't know, like people are getting hired all the time, and then people are like moving around.
Yeah, like especially when you are in your 20s, I feel like people are not they're not settled, obviously, which like is the case for probably anywhere. But now that I am in my 30s, I feel like I'm seeing a lot more people who are like, "No, like this is my home, like I'm staying here. I have no plans to leave." And it's so refreshing to like make friends with people and know that you're not going to be like heartbroken when they leave in a year.
Yeah. No, totally, totally. Also, I'm wondering, so like whenever you meet someone and you decide that like, okay, this is gonna be my, or you're like, okay, I think I want this to be my like friend. I see this going somewhere. Like, how do you personally go about like being intentional and building like a deeper connection? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think for me, like we'll hang out the first time and there'll be that question mark, like is this going to continue? Are we going to be friends? Are we vibing? And then usually I will like, I feel like it's always me. I like will reach out to them and be like, hey, do you want to go to this event? Do you want to get brunch? Do you want to get dinner? Whatever. And then the next time it's kind of on them, like I need them to also show that they're interested. And if they don't reach out to me after I've like put in the work and reached out to them, then it kind of like goes dead in the water.
Yeah.
Um, it has to be a mutual thing. It has to be like a two-way street. And you can't just be that friend who's like, do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? And the other person like never thinks of you, because that's just not going to be like an equal friendship. So I feel like when I'm like first, becoming friends with someone, it is important to me that I see that they're like putting in that effort too and they want to be friends too. Because otherwise there's just like no point for me to
Yeah.
like, because I've had friends where like it's just me constantly. Do you want to do this? And they never hit me up. And it makes you feel like so just like, oh, are we friends or am I friends with you? you know?
That's like intentional. Like you need people, which I feel this exact same way. That's so important. That's kind of like that saying that's like if you want to have a friend, you have to be a friend.
hmm
And it's like you need if you want a friend, you need to be intentional,
hmm
show up and put in the work. You can't just be like, "Oh, I want friends," and then like only when you like feel like wanting friends. Like sometimes you maybe not feel like getting out up and like going to do the thing, but if you're like, "No, I need to make friends. I'm not like having a lot of social interaction and it's something I want to prioritize right now." Maybe sometimes you're not going to feel like it, but you're going to need to make yourself because
Yeah.
otherwise you might miss out on making friends like and having people in your life.
Yeah. And if you're finding that you're the one constantly reaching out, like these just aren't the right people for you, you know? And you will find people who value you and want to hang out with you and feel that kind of like mutual friendship, but like don't put a whole lot of effort into people who don't put effort into you.
Yeah. I know we talked about how friends are like are like kind of like dating at first, like whenever you first meet up and stuff. I do think it's important to ask questions just like a date. Like if someone
Yeah.
asks, if they ask you a question, ask them a question back. Also, um being like just vulnerable and open and honest about.
Mhm. I also just feel like it's so easy for you, and like maybe that's just me like projecting, but like when you like came out and we went to that like Juice Beauty event and you just like walked up to everyone like, "Hi, I'm Tori." I was like, "Ugh, she's so like not awkward. She's so chill. Like that must be so nice." And it's just like I feel extroverted, but still like it can just be hard to like walk up to someone you've never met before and just start talking to them.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, I do at first, I'm like, and then I just push that out of my head.
Yeah.
I just am like, no. I just tell myself, like, no, you don't feel awkward. This is fine. They're just people.
Brave
I'm
girl.
just a person. They're probably feeling they're feeling the exact same way that I'm feeling.
Totally.
That's what I and they want to talk to people too, you know?
No, that's such a good way to think about it. Like, if you're feeling socially awkward, probably other people are too. And they're like scared to approach you. And they're probably looking at you like, oh my God, she's so cool. Like, I wish we could just be friends. But it's so hard to like make that first move and for someone to like break the ice. So, may as well be you.
Yeah. Well, also
This is what Tori's taught me.
well, and think about it, especially at events and things like that. So, if you're in a public space and you want to make a friend and no one's like talking, think about it like this. People want someone to like break the ice, but
Hmm.
everyone's scared to do it. But you know what? People are always appreciative if someone else does it because then they're like,
Totally.
the pressure's off and they don't have to do it, and then they automatically will appreciate that, and they honestly will kind of like you more because you did it, and because they're like,
Yeah.
ah, like the pressure's off. Like it's almost like, ah, thank you. Like that's why I don't ever mind doing it, because I'm like, it'll be fine. And especially at events like that, or even in spaces maybe where it's like, oh, people might want to say something. It's like, just break the ice, and then it's better for everyone.
I love that. This is just your pep talk, you guys. Like, go out to a coffee shop and talk to someone and make friends.
Yeah. And don't be scared. They will appreciate that you made the first move.
Yeah, everyone needs more friends. Like that's why we're all here listening to this, right? Because it's hard to make friends as an adult. So, yeah. Go just be intentional and give yourself a date out and make friends.
You know what I just want to sing? Why can't we be friends? Can we be friends?
Sing it, Tori.
Friends.
Mm.
Okay, I'll stay here.
We can all be friends.
Yeah.
Yay.
And that's
Also, watch your resting bitch face. Because I've definitely looked at some girls and I'm like, ooh, you look really angry. I don't want to be your friend. So, like, when you're sitting there, just make sure you're like,
no, totally. Well, also at an event, even at a work event where people are just standing around, do you think people would want to stand around and not talk to people and look awkward? No, no one wants to do that. Everyone wants someone to talk to them.
mhm.
Everyone does.
Yeah, and if you do feel really awkward about like walking up and making the first move, have some one-liners. Like men do this. Why can't we? Like my thing is I'll always walk up and compliment something. Oh my God, I love your hair, love your shoes, love your dress, whatever. And then it like usually starts the conversation. Or you could be like, oh my gosh, these meatballs, man. These are the best meatballs ever. Like talk about just something so random and small and it'll get the conversation flowing.
Oh, that's a great one. What else are some good like one-liners, like some friendship one-liners that you would?
You should ask ChatGPT.
We should.
Yeah.
Let's get
Do
it.
that. Ask AI to give you some like friendship one-liners to break the ice.
Honestly, ChatGPT is like our best friend. We love
We
ChatGPT.
love ChatGPT. But you guys got this. We believe in you, and it may seem really hard at first, but I promise it gets easier. But yeah, if you guys have questions at all about, making friends as an adult, I feel like we are two pretty good people at this.
Mhm.
We figured it out in our like late 20s, early 30s. So hit us up. You can find us on Instagram, of course, at Internet Girls Pod, girls with a Z. We're on YouTube. You can watch us live. Well, live-ish because this is previously recorded. But yeah, let us know your questions, and we're here for you.
Yeah. Also, you can slide into Hannah or I's personal accounts as well.
Yeah, I'm Hannah Lee Lifestyle. Tori's Tori Sunshine.
With two
Because
R's
she's
and an
who are so nice. Well, we love you, and with that, Internet Girls.